All right, we're back. I'm back. Just got off work. I'm gonna do this quick live and reaction and breakdown. So we got some interesting things going on. Um, I don't know what to say about most of the Americans who know what's going on, but what I'm seeing straight out of India, Al Jazeera, there's a whole lot going on. Most of the YouTubers who are actually getting information about the war, they're having to scrounge around for news articles and clips and tweets off X, which is unfortunately, by the time it hits those media outlets, you guys are about a day or two behind. I stress if you want to see what's really going on live, check my lives, check my streams. I am streaming almost every day the actual news in Iran because you got India reporters in Iran, somewhere at the border of Palestine and Israel, reporting uncensored, unfiltered. I mean, it's 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 amazing. So today I found something very interesting. I believe I saw in fact, the foreign minister, I think he was talking yesterday, and then a YouTuber caught it this morning. But I actually pulled up the full interview of Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi, and we're going to react to it because what he said is very, very interesting and very, very important, very, very critical. Because what's happening is the news coming from Israel, because that's what most of the American reporters are, they're only giving you what they want you to know based on what Trump wants you to know. You're not getting the rest of the news. And half the stuff I know, by the time somebody finds it on X, it's already 2 days old, tops, already. You know, just like it was one thing that most Americans do not know is Iran has two elected supreme leaders. Two. One is on standby. So if Majtaba Khamenei gets killed, guess what? That second one that they appointed within the first, I think it was the first week, yeah, he's gonna slide right in. I guarantee you, he's already watching, getting trained, seeing what's going on because they're prepared. They already know the Khamenei family has a hit on their entire family. They already know. They're prepared for this. So here's the foreign minister Abbas Araghchi and his interview with Face the Nation. And I'm going to react to it because he said at least three things I want to comment on. That's going to debunk a lot of things. And then I want to also look at, in fact, there was a video on Iraq, and I don't see it anymore. And that's the problem. I thought I had saved it. I might have to look at my watch history. But I want to react to that because what I'm finding is Iraq is seemingly letting the United States bases get attacked. And it's not surprising because the Iraq War was a precursor to Iraq previously helping the United States with Syria attack Iran. Turn around, the United States call Iraq enemies of the state and they backstab them. Here we are now we're back to attacking Iran, and Iraq's like, nah, I'm good. You know what? You get what you get. What goes around come around. Because everything that has happened in Iraq, with especially with all the planes that have been shot down, the American media say friendly fire. Really? So if it's friendly fire, who shot them down? Well, the only people who could be doing it is Iraqis. In fact, there was an Indian headline saying Iraqis admitted to shooting down American planes. It's wrong. So Iraq is just letting things happen for the sake of you did this to me, you deserve what's coming. We're waiting on Pakistan. Pakistan was on the fence. Now I believe I think it was the prime minister or the foreign minister just admit they got Iran's back now, 100. So the Gulf states are currently trying to find time to negotiate with Iran. In fact, I think it's France now with UK, Italy, and maybe Germany is now going to schedule talks with Iran in a couple of days because they're looking at the fact that President Trump is leaving everybody high and dry, which they should have known that from day one when he threatened the whole world. So, anyway, I digress. Let's get into this video. Let's get into this interview, and I'm going to break it down so everybody can understand. Whether you understand or not, whether you believe this or not, it's up to you because I'm getting everything from India, everything. and they're not bullshitting. India knows more about the United States than we know about them, and that should tell you something right there. I've been following Indian news for almost 10 years now, and in fact, they have exposed Trump twice now, two presidencies. So yeah, let's get this going.
We turn now to the
Oh,
Foreign Minister
get
of
this
Iran,
volume up.
Abbas Araghchi. A good evening to you, sir.
Well, good evening to you. Thank you for having me for the second time.
Yes, and they are extraordinary times. Minister, President Trump said this weekend he is not ready to make a deal with Iran because the terms aren't good enough yet. His administration is saying this war could last another 3.5 weeks or so. Has Iran asked for a ceasefire?
No, we never asked for a ceasefire, and we have never asked even for negotiation. We are ready to defend ourselves as long as it takes, and this is what we have done so far, and we continue to do that until President Trump comes to the point that this is an illegal war with no victory, and there are people being killed only because President Trump wants to have fun. This is what he has said.
Have fun?
We are not. Yes, this is what he said, that they are sinking, ships and targeting different places because it is fun.
And he's absolutely correct. I've seen the actual footage. I've seen the press conferences and the way they are showing kill shots for the last 2 weeks now. It's almost like watching Call of Duty. You don't do that. You don't brag about kill shots. And then the verbiage Pete Hegseth is using, it's immature. It if if anything, the stuff he has said would infuriate a country. If countries could take a lesson from this right now, they should understand for the first time this is an open door to stand up against a bully. I don't care who it is. Iran is showing the balls to stand up against a bully. America's history has been bullying countries for resources and then telling them what they can and cannot do, and yet they backpedal and do the exact same thing they just told a country they cannot do so they can be on top. So Iran is standing up for themselves. So countries better look at this long and hard and realize they cannot just bow down to a bully anymore. And I wish the UN, let's just say Europe, because the UN right now is divided over this. But I wish Europe would have stood up against Putin because honestly, Trump did say he wants to bomb the island again for fun. It's in my thumbnail. So he actually said it. It was repeated last night on Indian news. Okay? Trump is pulling us in the precursor of World War III. Europe did not want to attack Russia to defend Ukraine because of the possibility of World War III. At this point, it wouldn't have mattered. It wouldn't have mattered at this point. For what Putin was trying to do, Trump is ahead of the game as far as World War III intimate. It's intimate. So I feel like personally, I don't care who doesn't like this. I don't care if you want to call me anti-Semitic. They need to get Israel out of NATO and put Ukraine into NATO, just realistically, and then let's just try Netanyahu Benjamin for war crimes, and then deal with Israel after the fact, because they gotta wait for the next president to take office and see what he does. So it's a shame, but he's telling the truth. It's all over the headlines. It's in my thumbnails. I probably posted it twice in my thumbnails.
And the Secretary of War has said that there is no mercy.
Yeah, he said that too.
And this is actually a war crime. Even saying that is a war crime. So this is a war. This is a war of choice by President Trump. and the United States, and we are going to continue our self-defense.
Well, that may be your position, but sir, this is a war of survival for your government. Minister, don't you have to negotiate and reach out either directly or through a third party?
And I'm gonna stop right there because that's such a typical American response. Like they allow our country to bully somebody, and then all of a sudden the country has to negotiate. That's like bending the knee to a bully. No, like a lot of countries have been doing that for too long, getting fucked over. Trump is really fucking this world over. So Iran is taking a stand like most countries should have been doing a long time ago. Number two, they have every right to defend themselves. Number three, they were negotiating. They got bombed. And Trump, he could have made the decision, but he wants to go along with it. And he's right now talking about, well, we can go as long as we want. He doesn't care. He wants to go out looking better than George W. Bush when this is going to go down worse than the Vietnam War. This has already surpassed the Iraqi war slop. It's looking like a mirrored parallel universe of the Iraq war, but just worse in the aspects of what happened there is happening in reverse. The oil refiners got attacked first before the shit show happened. In Iraq, we had the shit show happen, then Iraq attacked the oil refineries. This time, NATO doesn't know what to do. They're divided. They don't want to get dragged in this because, again, it'll be World War III, legit. China, that's why China doesn't want to step in because they know it's going to be World War III. Trump is pushing us to World War III. Why? Because he wants to go out as a hero, a war hero, I guess. I don't know. So no, Iran has every right to defend themselves because if negotiations don't work at all, then your last result is defend yourself and die trying. Period.
No, it's not a war of survival. We are stable and strong enough. We are only defending our people from this act of aggression, and we don't see any reason why we should talk with Americans, because we were talking with them when they decided to attack us, and that was for the second time. There is no good experience talking with Americans. We were talking, so why they decided to attack us? So what is good if we go back to talk once again?
Well, I want to come back to that in just a moment. You're referring to the diplomacy with President Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, and his envoy, Steve Witkoff.
But still, that's Trump's diplomacy, regardless if Jared Kushner was involved. But at the end of the day, it's still Trump. Netanyahu made the call. Trump agreed with the call, and then Trump was bragging about it. He tried to cover for Netanyahu, telling him, "No, I made the decision." Come to find out, India's reporter found out it was Benjamin Netanyahu who made the decision. Trump just followed along, and now Trump is gaslighting the situation. Last headline is, well, Israel has their own objectives and the United States have their own, but we don't have no fucking plan. Like, no plan at all. It's wild. So yeah, he should defend himself realistically.
But just to continue on this, Iran is sending its drones and its missiles into your neighboring country.
Pay close attention to this. Pay very close attention to this.
American allies throughout the Gulf. Before the war, your government traded with them, you had relations with them. If your government survives this conflict, how do you go back to doing business with countries you're sending drones into and hitting civilian targets?
Well, obviously, these are the countries who have given their soil to American forces to attack us. So what can we do? We just sit and watch that American forces are attacking us from their soil, and
but your drones are going into civilian areas and hitting plants and hotels and civilians.
No, this is not the fact. We are only targeting American assets, American installations, American military bases. Everything belongs to Americans. And this is a fact that they are using their soil. There are many examples.
And that's very important. The hotels, American interests with the princes. They have attacked every military base they could attack. They're attacking all the airports. Israel is carpet bombing the shit out of Iran. They're carpet bombing Lebanon. the carpet bomb in Beirut. So in retaliation, Iraq's going to do the same thing. Because again, why would you just sit back and let two countries bomb the hell out of you because they want to see you fail and you do nothing. You don't retaliate. You supposedly can't retaliate because it's against international law. All the neighboring countries are too scared to even say anything. Like that's fucked up. That's fucked up. Like no, I don't agree with that. I don't fight like I don't go no. I'm gonna get strategic. And just like I said in one of my prior lives, you have to use the art of war to defeat the enemy because American Israel is just using the tactic of rules of engagement. And the sad thing is they're making up their own rules to engage Iran unfairly. You like a two against one? Are you serious? And they bragging about it? Like fuck out of here. Like that's that's the that's how you get gang jumped. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, it's not even a fair fight. So Iran is doing what they can, and they are attacking American assets. And yes, those hotels have a shit ton of Americans who go there. They attack the banks. Americans bank at those banks. Like it's even. It's fair. It's fair. Iran got their stuff attacked. I mean, they destroying the capital for no reason when they just killed the former supreme leader. That should have been it. That should have been it. But Israel wants to carpet bomb Iran, and Trump is allowing them. So it's a fair game. It's a fair game.
Examples. Just yesterday, they attacked our islands using HIMARS artillery rockets, which are low-range rockets, and they used the territory of UAE to attack us. A week ago, 3 F-15 jet fighters were shot down, apparently by a friendly fire in Kuwait, but nobody asked what they were doing in Kuwait. They were using Kuwait and airspace of a neighborly, a friendly country to attack us. So it is obvious we cannot just remain
Right. Well, so many of these
silent
countries
against
are part of CENTCOM, but this is the point, is that it's going to hurt your country in the long term. But when we talk about the Strait of Hormuz, which is such an important
See, she's asking the same narrative questions that's been floating around in the media from the White House, and that's what's fucked up about that. But at the end of the day, it all comes down to these countries better call out the people who are guilty, who started this. And that's the problem. They don't want to call out who started this, but then they're all quiet. They're not really taking action because they know who started this. They know Iran is doing everything they can to defend themselves, but they don't want to come out and call out Trump and Netanyahu because they all scared about, oh, well, that's going to ruin our business deals. And that's why they used to say money corrupts. Money is the root of all evil. That's why they used to say that. And it's a damn shame. All this, all because of money. In fact, they were saying within the week and a half on Indian news that it wasn't just Netanyahu who staged this attack, but it was also the Saudis staged it too. And that's why, and it's in my stream, Benjamin literally said, after this, after we take out Iran, I hope we can be friends with Saudi Arabia. That came out of his mouth. If you don't believe me, go through all of my lives about this war. You'll see it. You'll see it.
important transit point for global trade. You have said it is closed to Israel and it's closed to the United States. The Financial Times is reporting that European diplomats from France and Italy are talking to your government about trying to get safe passage for their ships. Are you open to restarting oil and gas vessels going through there?
And yes, I
Well,
did
we are
say
open to countries
they
who
are actually
want
trying
to talk to
negotiate.
us about the safe passage of their vessels.
You are
It depends
negotiating with
on
France and
our.
Italy?
Well, I cannot mention any country.
Yes, he will be because that came up in the news, I believe, yesterday or day before yesterday. So yes, he can't expose that, but yes, they are looking to negotiate along with the Gulf states, or now considering to negotiate because they realize the United States and Israel is not giving a damn. They're not trying to end this shit. Um, they're it's looking a mess, and they already know this is not good. And the United States is not. The United States is actually running out of weapons. They're running out of ammunitions. They are. Israel had already said they were running out the first week. So whatever ammunitions they're using now, I guarantee you it's like from bases or they were given extra, you know, supplies from their ships or whatever. Because lately, in fact, the last this we in week 3, the Iron Dome has been failing. Hasn't been holding up too well. And not to mention, you got UK and France helping out in the region.
In particular, but we have been approached by a number of countries who wants to have a safe passage for their vessels, and this is up to our military to decide. And they have already decided to let a group of vessels belongs to different countries to pass in a safe and secure. So we provide them security to pass because we have not closed this strait. They are not coming themselves because of the insecurity which is there because of the aggression by the US.
I want to ask you again about the negotiations. Iran has declared it has 440 kilos or so of nuclear material.
Oh, yeah,
Where is
let's
that
listen to this.
material now? Who has custody of it?
Well, we have not declared. This is verified and declared by the agency.
That's
This
right.
is not a secret. This is not a secret, The agency have said in his many reports the exact amount of our enriched, nuclear material.
Yes. So where is it now? Who has custody of it?
So they are under the rubbles. Our nuclear facilities were attacked, and everything is under the rubble.
There you have it. That's how much information I have about it because the original nuclear agency that was handling this under Obama was already auditing how much they could have. It was already under the agreement Obama had. And that's why Trump has that information still to this very day. Still.
Of course, there is the possibility to retreat them, but under the supervision of the agency. If one day we come to the conclusion to do that, it would be under the supervision of the agency. But for the time being, we have no program, we have no plan to recover them from under the rubbles.
Am I understanding you here? Because I know that you said 48 hours before the U.S. strikes happened, you had personally offered to President Trump's negotiators to take that 440 kilo amount of 60% enriched material and to dilute it. You said Iran was ready to give that material away. This was in the deal that was also presented to Vice President Vance by Oman. Today, is Iran still willing to let go of that enriched uranium?
Well, that was one of the elements of a deal that we were negotiating with our, American interlocutors. That element dealt with the question of Iran's 60% enriched material. And I offered actually that we are ready to dilute those enriched material or downblend them, as they say, into lower percentage. So that was a big offer, a big concession, in order to prove that Iran has never wanted nuclear weapons and would never want them.
Are you willing to give that up now?
So, see, here's the problem I have with this. She's repeating the same narrative question that's been coming out of the White House. They want to take the uranium. That's the narrative because Trump didn't destroy it last year. So now, just to cover his ass, he wants to go in and take it and then proclaim, see, they had your enriched uranium to make nukes, which Indian News said they can make about 10 if they want to right now. The sad thing is, and let's look at this. Out of all the munitions Iran has been launching, still, in fact, I'll tell you, they had reported on Indian News that the first wave in the first week and a half, let's just say the first week, Indian News reporters found out those missiles and drones that they launched in that type of fury were built around 2012. They were old. They had a massive amount. Over time, they started getting new missiles. That's what they're launching now. So to be honest, they were just throwing old stuff at Israel to see where they're strong at, where they're weak at, while they left their stuff they really wasn't using out to be destroyed because you know why? It was being watched. Last year they had already moved the uranium. But see, you got to understand, if Iran wanted to build a nuclear missile, they would have done so by now. In Trump's first term, period. They would have been had one built by now. Or they could have sold that uranium and got missiles in exchange because China has them, Russia has them, North Korea has them. They don't have to waste time building them. They could have just been enriching it to trade off. Because if you trade uranium for already made nuclear weapons, then that country can take that uranium that's already pre-made, pre-mixed, and replenish what they just sold. There's different angles you could have done with that. But they weren't really trying to do that because here's a key thing. This is very important. You remove Trump's 2 terms out of the picture, Iran was quiet. Literally, Iran, we didn't hear shit out of Iran at all. You look at every Republican president, we have attacked Iran for stupid reasons. We have a Democrat president, you don't hear shit out of Iran at all. Not a damn thing.
Well, there is nothing on the table right now. Everything depends on the future. If any time in the future we decide to enter into negotiation with the US or other interlocutors, we may decide what to put on the table. For the time being, nothing is on the table.
There are at least 4 Americans being held at Evin prison that we know of, including a journalist, Reza Valizadeh, and Cameron Hekmati, a 61-year-old man.
And I'm thinking, because I was waiting for that confirmation, like even India couldn't confirm, but I don't blame them for not giving out the information for certainty because they would have had more backlash. So it was left as a rumor. But now that he's confirmed it, and I'm going to tell you this, I guarantee you there's a high chance that 3 captive Americans were from those 3 fighter jets that went down from Kuwait. I guarantee there's a chance. I'm just not gonna say guarantee. Let's just say allegedly. It's probably those 3, and then the journalist who probably tried to sneak into Iran and got snatched up, or it could have been a journalist in Kuwait got snatched up while they were getting those 3. Because let me tell you something. Kuwait and Iraq, they're not really they just like low key letting shit get shot up. Like real talk, we haven't heard nothing out of Iraq, nothing out of Kuwait as far as they condemn this. Not a damn thing. Just saying. Now you heard shit out of Saudi Arabia and the UAE, but not out of Iraq and Kuwait. Just saying.
What is the status of those Americans? Are they safe?
Well, if the U.S. and Israel do not attack our prisons, I guess they are safe.
Foreign Minister, we are.
And we. Oh man.